I was stretching.
Oh.
Fam, how are you doing today? It's the same day that we recorded this, so I don't know when I'm dropping it, so it'll probably seem. BTS explained by a Korean. DK, TV, shouts out. I have Naomi with me.
Hey.
Yes. So, we, about time. I know, about time. Break it down. Because the way Jimin come in there, then the way J-Hope, we need to know why. We need to know why. Hopefully he explained it. Why did J-Hope come in there riding that beat like that? Hopefully he explained why did Jimin come in starting that verse and V came in talking about Paris. We need to know why JK took the time on that bridge near the end to have them girls walking with him in that video and had Naomi talking about he walking to me. I still wake up cold sweats. DK, can you explain that to me? TV. Intro!
Yeah, you never flew private plane, now your eyes open wide up in Paris. Yeah, you ain't never been from the coast on a yacht to an island. Yeah.
Let's go. We back. You ready?
Yeah.
Let's go. Straight to it, DK.
Yeah,
DK, we don't even need no caption, please. We don't even need no caption.
That's so cool.
This DK did come with it. Well, you know, it's just his intro.
BTS is back with what seems to be the second and the final entry to the Map of the Soul series. The title song, On, has an epic music video that's packed with all sorts of references. But before we go on to the MV, let's decipher the lyrics first. And just a quick reminder, I have explained the basic concepts of the Jungian psychology many times in previous videos, so I suggest you go watch these videos in the pinned comments before you watch this if you're unfamiliar with such concepts.
We watched it. The way he comes in.
I was trying to do karaoke kind of thing.
Right off the bat, Jimin talks about his troubles. His having trouble finding out who to listen to. And as he takes steps forward, his shadows become bigger. As you may remember, shadows are repressed, less desired elements of one's personality.
Sugar.
The more he listens to others, the more of himself he has to repress. And the bigger his shadow gets. Here RM talks about his troubling thoughts and how he's not fully comprehending whether it is him that is having these troubling thoughts or the shadow. In reality, it is both, as the shadow is a part of him, and the shadow is not the only one shaking. It is him too. He realizes this in the next lines. RM shows his vulnerability by admitting that his troubled state has made him fearful and not okay. However, he has come to a realization that he must accept the shadows. In this beautiful line, he calls shadows the black wind, a very imaginative metaphor for a shadow that really captures how his shadows are shaking in trouble, as he is as well. He says that he will fly with the black wind, the shadows, meaning he will embrace it and become a better person with it.
Okay.
Now, encountering and embracing the shadow is a key step in the process of individuation.
I want to listen to some Marvin Gaye with DK now. DK, when y'all in Atlanta, hit me up. We're going to listen to some. I want y'all to break down some Tupac too, man. I like this. Well, he deep. Though I don't know think they was getting this deep.
The process of individuation in Jungian psychology is where the unconscious parts of the psyche, such as the shadow, are brought into conscious, and thus developing personality and making the person distinct and unique. Jung believed that through individuation, one could achieve mental and physical health and become just a better human being overall. You could say that the entire Map of the Soul series is about BTS's process and journey to individuation. And here on this verse, it is where they finally come to embrace their shadows and bring them to the conscious. chorus, BTS has fully committed to the individuation process. They see that they must throw themselves into two worlds, the two worlds being the unconscious and the conscious parts of the psyche. They must see both sides in order to be truly whole, truly develop their character. Also, we need to talk about this interesting line. 미치지 않으려면 미쳐야 해. I think this line refers to how sometimes what people consider sane is insane if you think about it, and vice versa. BTS, who have figured out their path to individuation, they have decided to go deeper into the shadows, into the repressed elements of their mind, their pain, which to a normal human being may seem like it's going against their intuition and instincts. No sane person deliberately tries to delve deeper into their pain. However, if you really think about it, maybe more people are insane than sane, as they are never really truly grounded to their true self, or even know what the true self is. So in the sense, delving deeper into your pain to find out more about yourself and to...
BTS need to leave everybody's souls alone. Let everybody's souls be peaceful.
You have to understand the source, you know?
Grow is actually the same thing to do, while others who do not go such depths and decide to live the way the life is handed to them are, in fact, insane. Hence, you need to be insane to be sane in this world.
That's deep shit. What?
The process of individuation can be painful. Our minds want to dwell on security and stability. However, for individuation to take place, for our minds to grow, we need to fight our urges to stay in our comfort zone. We need to take risks getting into the unconscious.
True.
This can mean doing something that you have never done before.
Yes,
or
I agree.
something that others just don't do. Individuation is a journey of conflict. There is no birth of consciousness without pain, said Carl Jung. BTS understands this and is braced and ready to take on that pain.
Oh, he said bring the pain. Okay.
And that's funny that's how, and when that's what, I'm ready for it. So I'll eat.
As this and is braced and ready to take on
Say
that
it again, DK.
Bring the pain. Bring the pain. No fear of buying love and honesty. Shocking what they bring. Think of all the from this house who I feel. Make a night behind and go through the hill. No more don't die here on the screen.
Here, J-Hope is in full Wiseman mode. He knows, as he stated in his previous lines, that acknowledging their shadows are going to be helping them grow as a person. Furthermore, he's not afraid to take on the pain of confronting the shadows, a contrast to what RM was saying in the first verse of the song when he was a little bit confused. He knows the process and how this will help him become a better person. So he accepts it and he actively asks for more pain, as it'll only callous them and make them stronger.
Dude, okay. You should tell you, I could be going through the worst thing imaginable, and I still say thank you, because I know without pain there's no gain. Period. It's weird, and I think it's weird. I kind of get to myself, and I'll be like, thank you. Most people won't understand it. That's what I'm looking.
So beautiful.
I touched on all the parts that I like. They played.
Just from the lyrics, the song is about growth and full acceptance of one's shadows in order to become a better person. I really like how the song has an element of progression to it, how it starts from being confused and fearful about one's shadows to accepting it and asking for more pain so that they can grow. It really is a nice way to end the Map of the Soul saga. The music video is in similar vein. I know there's a lot of different takes on the music video, but I'll try to keep my theory connected to the themes of the individuation process and its development of one's wholeness as a person through confronting the shadow and unconscious. In the beginning, we see a battlefield that has many lying dead, with Jin picking up a dove that has been shot down by an arrow. I think the battlefield represents the battles inside the psyche, not that of the actual outside world, as the song and the entire series is about going inside your mind. In fact, I'm going to go out of my way to say that the entire setting of the music video is within the psyche. The dead dove represents peace, as it does in many different cultures, more specifically the Bible here, as this MV heavily references from the Bible. The dove has been shot down because BTS is going through sort of a war inside their minds. They are confused and doubtful, as the beginning of the lyrics suggest, and peace is no more in their psyches. Here in the next shot, Jungkook is running away from some structure that looks like tall walls. He has thorns on his hands, like handcuffs. In a recent video, he actually stated that he is running away because he got kicked out after the people of that walled castle have discovered his special ability. I think this is a reference to the Garden of Eden and how Adam and Eve ate the fruit of the tree of knowledge of good and evil and was banished from Eden. And here, Jungkook represents Adam. This is essentially a metaphor for no longer being in an innocent, infant-like state as Adam and Eve were prior to eating the fruit. It is essentially Jungkook being thrown out into the world, out from the protection of God or the walls of Eden or the castle here, and being forced to face the turmoils of the world. As I've said in the lyric breakdown, such hardship and pain is essential in the process of individuation. In Jimin's shot, he is with a drummer boy, which many armies have been speculating it represents war, as they have been extensively used in wars to signal soldiers. I personally found this part the most confusing, as the MV seems to be full of Bible references, but I could not find anything regarding this. Going with the army's theory that the boy represents war, I think Jimin is preparing for another fight, an inner fight in his psyche in order to come to accept his shadow. V starts his appearance in what seems to be resembling Jesus on a cross. He also has a blindfolded girl next to him, which in the Bangtan TV sketch video he calls Lena. Lena derives from the biblical name Magdalene. Mary Magdalene from the Bible is a devout follower of Jesus Christ. She was present at the cross when Jesus was dying and also was the first to see Jesus after his resurrection. I think in this scene, V represents the hope that's yet to be realized, as he is still laying on the ground in a crucified-like posture. And Lena is blindfolded. The devout follower of him has yet to see him become alive in the metaphorical sense. This reflects rather confused and doubtful state of the first lines of the verse. RM's shot is an obvious reference to Noah's Ark. Judging from the state of the ship, the Great Flood seems to have already passed here. I think the Great Flood represents a great turmoil in the psyche, like confronting the shadow and identifying your ego and self from the persona. RM has already asked these questions in the persona intro. Perhaps this is why he has already passed the Great Flood in the scene. In the Bible, after the flood, Noah meets a new world, and so will RM and BTS after the process of individuation is over. They will come to a new world, a new actualized self. In this scene, Jin brings back the dead dove to his room. The room is full of empty cages, likely the other doves that have been there but have died. This shows that there is no more peace in the world, in the psyche. Then something magical happens. The dead dove seems to come alive as its cage starts moving. Perhaps BTS wanted to show that it's only when you lose all peace in your mind and really confront your shadows that you can really truly gain the true inner peace. Now in the next scene, Jungkook passes out and is in a field with J-Hope. I think this scene represents the psychic death. This is where one's psyche shifts back to the existential position of the natural self. Jung believed that the fundamental transformation of the psyche would have radical improvements on one's quality of life. Essentially, psychic death is thinking you know everything and then going to realize that you know nothing. Only when you reach that state can you have a fundamental transformation of your psyche. During the psychic death, the self remains intact. This is because the self is deeper in the psyche than the ego, and much less personal. It's rather archetypical. J-Hope seems to represent the self that remains from Jungkook's psychic death. Then in the next scene, we have Suga in the midst of some ritual. Now, one YouTuber named Bookish Theory suggested that this represents alchemy, as it has the 4 colors that represent each stages of alchemy. Young News.
You see this?
Yeah.
They messing up all my... How can you do a strip club song after hearing all this?
Yeah.
Twerk it to the floor. Bro.
That's crazy.
That boy that going that deep. DK. Damn, you can't do no booty bouncing song after this. Damn. All intellectual capacity songs.
Alchemy as a symbolic representation of individuals. So it does seem to make sense.
I'm curious of what
colors
this...
that represent each stages of alchemy. Jung used alchemy as a symbolic representation of individuation. So it does seem to make sense that this would be in the music video. And what happens after this scene supports this interpretation. The drummer boy starts playing drums, doors to the wall open, V rids Lena of her blindfolds, allowing her to see hope and a new land behind the walls. All signals for hope and a brighter future. Everyone gathers around the open door trying to walk into the new land of hope. Jungkook goes into a pond, which somewhat resembles a baptism, essentially another metaphor for ego death and psychic death. He trades his thorns for a cone shell. When he blows on the shell, I think this scene represents how he has become enlightened, knows that now he can and he must take on the shadows, as him doing so turns the skies dark and cloudy, and he is now confronting the shadows. We now have the dance break. I think this can be interpreted as the confrontation and the acceptance of one's shadow. It ends with everything being engulfed in a fireball and a shot of the new land growing abundant with new trees and life. All the people go on to the new land and on top of the Simba rock. BTS has completed their process of individuation, and now they have become and grown into a better human being. Hope you guys enjoyed this video.
Yeah, but of course,
it did take me a very long time to decipher this music video, and honestly, with so many references, I don't think I'm 100% correct. In fact, I have a lot of doubts on myself as well. So if you...
Well, hell, DK, you can't tell me that. I'm gonna roll that out to the bank. I'm gonna go tell everybody on Twitter what you're saying. But hey, you know, at least you gave it to me. So we need to do Celeste too. We're gonna do Celeste too.
Yeah, we are.
All right, cool.
You could suggest some better theories or some other ideas regarding
I like DK too, that's my guy.
That will be awesome. Put them down in the comments below. And also, this video will probably not be monetized.
I didn't say it's cool.
Big Hit will claim the copyright, rightfully so, because we use your music. So if you could support us via Patreon and patreon.com/GKDKTV, your little help goes a very long way in supporting us in making these kind of videos, especially the Explain series. So please be sure to visit patreon.com/GKDKTV, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.
Thank you, DK.
And Dave is gonna explain.
We're gonna do that other one too, man. We gotta make it so that we behind. Damn, I don't know if we did shout out. Like, damn. Maybe that's DK's. I think we did. I don't know. I think I did. Yes, I did Celeste, I think. That ain't why we're here. I got Naomi with me. That was dope. Very insightful. And what I did get out of that is BTS is not lazy on topics, subject matter. How deep can we go? They playing limbo. How deep can you go with the lyrics, man?
It's pretty deep. Like,
for real, on the surface now, you know me, everything is not in English, so I'm not gonna get it like I would get an Eminem. But when I get the breakdown of it and see it for real, of what everything meaning, because sometimes we're not able to dissect as deep as we want to because BTS has so much content. So we have to go back to stuff on our own time, and when we do, we like, wow, it was tight just off the melody and the beat. Me as a songwriter, you know, I just care about melodies and beats initially because that's what's gonna pull me in. Now I'm listening to what you're talking about. Because you can talk about real stuff. If I don't like the melody of the beat, I'm gonna forget I'm listening. I need something to pull me in there, and that starts with the beat, then the melody. Now you gotta have some substance.
Do they ever come out like the end, like, no guys, this is what it actually means? Or everyone is just like left with their own theory?
I would let people kind of like speculate. Unless, you know, it's an interview, maybe somebody want to clear it up. But, because sometimes things can have different meanings. Like, sometimes I done came up with lyrics and somebody said it meant that. I'm like, damn, I didn't even mean for it to go that way, but that worked too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then after 2 years, or a year or 5, 6 months, I don't remember which way I meant it because I got so many songs. You know what I mean? So it don't matter as long as you like it.
Yeah, yes.
Yes. Dope. Yes, we're going to do some more of these. Thank you for joining me on these, Naomi. Thank you. I appreciate you. Give me a hug. Bring it in.
Okay.
She ain't ready for that over here, too.
Okay.
Outro!
Yeah, you never flew private plane. Now your eyes open wide up in Paris. Yeah, you ain't never been from the coast on a yacht to an island. Yeah.